Right now.
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 Because it's time to right now.
Welcome to another daily motivation writing stream. I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to help the writers with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be an author. Because let's face it, being a writer has its highs and its lows, but together, this process and journey is made so much easier. So today, we're going to be keeping it super easy, super casual. For our Sunday, we're going to be getting in a couple writing sprints today. We're going to see what type of writing and how much we can get in. We'll chat on our breaks and we will check in with each other. I'm working on Scarecrow today. For those of you who don't know, Scarecrow is a dark fantasy post-apocalyptic world where our heroes, Scarecrow and his new friends, the eccentric crow and Pebble, are traveling through a post-apocalyptic world trying to get to the graveyard of the last so they can find a way to stop the first demon from destroying the world. So where are my heroes traveling through? They're currently traveling through, they're dealing with the Village of Cannibals. So that's a chapter I'm working on. I'll kind of talk through my thoughts at the break. I kind of need to get into it. What are you working on? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. All right. And you can see I already have my screen pulled up here. We're going to be getting right into it. Let's see. Hey, what's up, ML? Welcome to the stream. ML in the house. And Mike, welcome, my friends. Welcome back. Good to see you here in the stream again. And Calvin, what's up, my friend? Marta in the stream. Hope everything is going good with you guys. Hopefully we're getting some good writing vibes in today. Hopefully, like fingers crossed. Marty, like, my life lastly is only about cannibals. Yeah, the chapter that I'm working on, Marta, is Scarecrow and friends are traveling through a village of inanimate objects. And these objects had been brought to life by kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein type character. But the only way that these objects can survive and like still like not become inanimate again is through cannibalism. I love the vibe of it. So I'm going to be getting into that. We'll chat more at the break, but I'd love to hear what are you guys working on? Hopefully, let's see. Calvin, you're working on Storm. Marta, I know you're working on Cannibals. All right, guys, we're going to do it. We're going to make some good progress today. I believe in us. I'm like, fingers crossed. Let's kick off and end off this weekend strong and really make a good effort with our writing. Mike, you're like, working on Fairyland Deaths. They're having dinner and will be attacked by the Gray Men. Ooh, that sounds intriguing. The Gray Men sounds really creepy. That's actually really cool. On Fairyland Deaths. Oh, so you have a bunch of fairies. I don't think I have any fairies in my world, but I have a pixie. Depends on how different you think a fairy versus a pixie is. But I'm definitely very intrigued. When I think of Gray Men, I think of Gray Men as usually like that creature type where they basically like camouflage with, they're almost like they're like a chameleon assassin. I think when I think about a gray man's like a chameleon assassin. They basically can like blend into any environment, and then they usually just appear and kill the character and can like assassinate a character usually, in my experience with fantasy. So I'd love to hear more about it. I love hearing about stories. So let's get into it. We'll chat a little bit more on the break. So we're going to start things off strong with 25 minutes on the clock. I'll throw up one of my new playlists and let's do it. All right, I'm ready. So whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. All right. Writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. Wonderful. First writing sprint complete. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I was able to make a little bit of progress that time. How about you? Oof, man. I was like, I feel like I think yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how that portion of the writing sprint came out. I'm trying to think about what I'm struggling with. I think this coming chapter, I have to make some storytelling decisions in how I want to navigate and go about that chapter. I would actually love to hear, and this is like a random question that comes to mind. What is one of the most difficult parts of the writing process for you guys? When you're like working on like the storytelling itself, and let's say you've broken through the block and you're able to sit down and write, what's the hardest part about the process when you're like in the flow? For you, is it like character development, like maybe you struggle with putting characters together, or plotting, or editing? I would love to hear. Drop a comment. Let me see, and I'll throw that up as a Q&A. What is the most difficult part of the writing process for you? Awesome. I just threw that up as a Q&A. I would love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment. Let's see. How did we do on that break? Let's see. What are y'all working on? Hey, what's up, Eccentric? I'm working on my dark fantasy with Scarecrow. About to deal with a village of cannibals. Yeah, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to go back and forth on how I want these cannibal the creatures in this village to look. Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth. Well, we'll see. I'll see how I feel. Dystopia is fun though. I absolutely love dystopian books. Dystopian novels are bomb.com. Let's see. You're asking, you're like, what type of book would be be fun to write for you? I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't stick to one particular genre. Well, I think the great thing, Brandy, is you can always start writing. Like, I wouldn't even worry about a genre. I would say just start writing and write something that sounds fun to you, right? Start writing and just see what comes naturally. Don't worry about sticking to a genre. Have zero expectations of yourself. The only expectation is just have fun and enjoy and just see what comes naturally. And then you can kind of go from there. Maybe you'll come up with like a cool character or a cool scene or some cool ideas. Doesn't matter if it sounds like anything out there. It doesn't matter if it sounds bad. It doesn't matter if it sounds good. Just focus on what comes authentically. And I feel like that's always a great place to start. And then you can worry about logistics and genre stuff like that later on. Oh, psychological thrillers are so much fun. I love thrillers. Thrillers are always everybody's favorite when I do thrillers on the critique stream. Nice, Calvin. You're like, I got 400 words for me, how to do some research. Yeah, it's always interesting when we have to step away and research something, especially like characters or world building, so that way it's accurate. Nice, Morgana. Sounds like you're kind of in the same boat. You got 408 as well. It's like, how many words did I get? I don't think I got. I was like, I don't think I got too many words. I was like, let's see. I definitely didn't get that much that time. I was kind of doing. I feel like I spent a little bit of my time brainstorming. Let's see. I was like, I think I started like there. So I think I spent a little time brainstorming. Yeah, I did about 200 that time. So nothing crazy, but I'm trying. It's this next obstacle. I'm like really trying to think through what's the right strategy for this next obstacle. It's written, but I don't know if I'm happy with the what the village felt like in the original draft. So I feel like it needs a rewrite. And see, Calvin, you're like, for me, the hardest part is the beginning or trying to introduce new characters without making it an info dump. Understandable, right? Because when we introduce a new character, we have to set up the character in some way, shape, or form. And it could so easily happen of like we set up a character and we're like, okay, well, we want the reader to know what they look like. What does their face look like? What are they wearing? What's their actions? What's their vibes? And I think what's interesting is sometimes in our mind as authors and writers, we think that we need to explain everything for the reader because we want the reader to have a visualization. Something we forget is we forget that our readers are incredibly intelligent human beings who have probably read hundreds of thousands of books in their lifetime, and that we only need to leave a couple of key details for them to be able to paint their own image. Now, some writers, I see there's two popular approaches. One type of writer likes to do a minimal approach where they will do like a couple key details, like they'll do like maybe eye color, maybe like a jacket they're wearing, and maybe like their stance, and then that paints enough of a visual for the reader. The other style of writer likes to do a lot. They want the reader to have the same visualization that they see in their mind. There's no right or wrong way to this. It's really personal preference, but you really just have to think about if this is your protagonist, you probably want your reader to have a better visualization. If this is like a minor character that's in one scene, it's probably not too important in terms of time, so to speak. So, but I've definitely dealt with that myself before, Calvin. It's a good call out. Show, don't tell is often difficult, right? And that usually goes between doing too much exposition. That's like doing exposition versus trying to use language to paint a picture. Sometimes that can be, okay, am I showing using my senses? Obviously, we use what we see, but are we using what we smell, taste, hear, or touch? Those are always great strategies. If someone ever feels like they're showing too much, or if somebody feels like they're telling too much, go pick one or two of the other senses and see if that mixes up your writing style. Or maybe you need to do a little bit of interiority. Remember, all the things that we do in our writing, of all the things that we can do, there's three styles of things that our characters can interact with the world, right? Characters can interact through dialogue, characters can interact through action, or characters can interact through interiority. Now, of course, if you are narrating it, if there's a narrator's voice, narration's like the fourth one, but generally in most fiction, action, dialogue, interiority, right? So maybe if you're trying to mix it up, you're like, hey, maybe your character needs to have a little bit more interiority. What are they thinking to really elevate the dialogue and the action? Eli, like I think in a big picture sense, I struggle letting go of ideas that don't really fit in a piece. Struggle letting go that don't. Yeah, and I mean, I think that can be. I think when we're coming up with really big worlds and big stories like you, Eli, and this happens with writers who are generally working on series. We have a lot of cool ideas, and we know the direction, we know the general direction, we have all these beats that we need to hit, but then when we start revising or we start refining, it's trying to figure out like, well, what ideas can be cut and what ideas are not important to the story. Something that's worked well for me is if there is an idea or a scene, I always ask myself, does this serve the core character's journey? What is my protagonist's core journey? Because that's really the story that we're following. And then B, does this idea or theme, does this story beat, does it serve the theme or the message that I want the reader to walk away from? I feel like that's usually like a good inherent shit test that I like to do. And if it doesn't pass those two, then it's probably like, it could be interesting, but it might be better side material outside of the novel. The most difficult part for me is trying to remember the arcs of the background characters. And Oscar, this is why I highly recommend that writers generally use what I call as a story Bible. Whenever I do a lot of editing. I do editing services for clients and coaching services. And anytime I do editing, I always give story Bibles with the editing work as well. I think it's very important, especially for series, that we're tracking all of our characters. We're tracking all the story beats. We're outlining. We're tracking important moments. And there's just a lot of things we have to keep track of because, like, if you're writing a series, book 3, you're not going to remember what the innkeeper's eyes looked like in book 1. You're not going to remember what type of trees that were in the thing in book 2. And this was something I was just dealing with Scarecrow, right? I'm about 16 chapters in, and I had to refer to these trees again, but I haven't referenced the trees since chapter 2. So I had to go back and check my notes, and I was like, oh, yep, those are the types of trees that I had leveraged because I had to do a little research. Otherwise, it would have just been going back to the novel and like, okay, where did I reference them? So highly recommend story Bibles. Like I worked on a pagan dinner prayer. The hardest part for me is once I'm through the intro of a scene, but the transition to the next part is hard. Is once I'm through the intro, but Ooh, I love transitions. And I mean, especially for thriller, because thriller, you're usually leaving the reader. I mean, I'd say like 7 times out of 10, you're usually leaving the reader on a mystery, a question, or a cliffhanger. I love the cliffhanger. Now the challenge with cliffhangers are we doing it in a way that best serves the story and makes for an engaging reading experience? I think that's the challenge. I also love I love outlining. So I'm myself am pretty good about figuring out what beat do I hit next. And then I ask myself, if I'm at this beat and I need to get to this beat, what would be the most interesting way that I'd like to try that? Or what would be the most interesting way to get the characters from here to there? Do I do a cliffhanger? Do I do something funny? Do I do something dramatic? And then think about how is that best going to serve my core protagonist journey? Or how's it best going to serve the theme of the story that I'm trying to tell? So totally been there. Thrillers are so much fun though. I love thrillers. I had a problem to specify my genre at the beginning. I had a full list. Now it's shortened to 2 words: thriller and comedy. Yeah, and you know, Marta, this actually happens to writers a lot. In the beginning, writers feel like they have to determine determine what their genre is. But the truth is, like, you really don't need to determine what your genre is until you're ready to start marketing the book or selling it. Right? Like you can do it maybe for yourself and maybe like, so you know how to talk about it. But like during the rough draft, like you don't know, you know what the genre is. Like it's fine. Now, if you're like, hey, I want to save time on the back end because I don't want to do other genre elements, that's understandable, right? And then you could try to pick a genre or maybe pick elements of a genre. For example, my book, The Last Scarecrow, I wasn't sure I knew it was fantasy, but I wasn't sure what other genres it was. It took a little bit of research for me to recognize that The Last Scarecrow is a dark fantasy action adventure with elements of science fiction, post-apocalypse, fairy tale, and there's a fourth one, and thriller. Yeah, I was like, yeah, post-apocalypse. Yeah, thriller. I would say thriller. Okay, I would say it has elements of sci-fi, thriller, post-apocalypse, fairy tale / folktale. So, but it would be categorized as a fantasy genre. Morgana, like hardest part for me is keeping the same perspective. I did the third person for the prologue because of being in the past, but the rest of the book is first person. And it's always the debate of first person past tense or first person past tense of first person. Yeah, I mean, it makes it a little harder too, especially when you're switching between different tenses throughout the book. As we know, third person tends to be the most popular form of storytelling. First person can work as well, and I know there's definitely a lot of areas for first person, but I know third person tends to be the most predominant. And I think which a POV tense you're using is really like a matter of personal style and what type of story that you're trying to tell. Yeah, Eli, that's a good point. And info dump and alpha beta readers can let you know. Yep. Yep. And this is why getting feedback from people is so important. It really is. Story Bible, Oscar's great question. Yeah, it's kind of like a glossary. It's like a glossary in a sense. It's basically like Story Bibles is like a document that you create where you're basically tracking your character notes, your world building, your beats, your plot beats, an outline. It's usually like a document that tracks everything for a book or a series, so that way you can better organize just your thoughts with your storytelling process. All right, my friends. So that has been wonderful. And by the way, before we hop into our next sprint, if you're enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. We're here every day with the Right Now community, over 400 consecutive writing streams and counting. So whether you're looking for daily writing sprints, whether you're looking for our critique stream, which is every other weekend, next week, we are returning with the Create Right Now podcast. I have an exciting guest author that's going to be joining me. We have our holiday writing events in the spring. We'll be launching our book club. We'll be hosting the Fated Fantasy Fiction Contest. And we have so much more. So if you're looking for that daily writing motivation community, this is the place. Make sure to tap that follow or subscribe button, and you'll be alerted when we go live. All right, my friend. So I felt good about that. Okay, so let's see where I'm at on time. All right, so let's do another 25-minute one. I was like making sure I have enough time. Awesome. So what we're going to do, we're going to do another 25 minutes. I will kick up the music. We'll go a little bit more rock this time, more chaotic. And let's see what craziness we can get into. I believe in us. I believe in you. Let's do it. All right, my friends. So I am all ready. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process. Come join us. It's time to write now. All right. Writing sprint done. All right. Awesome. So we got our second writing sprint done. Wonderful. Let's cue up the timer, cue up the break. There we go. We'll take a little bit of a shorter break this time because we are in the writing vibe. We're going to hop into our third writing sprint in just a second. How was that going for you? Were you able to get a little bit of progress that time? Hopefully. How many words did you get? Let's see. How many did I do? I don't think I did too much, but I was having a lot of fun with what I was working on. Let's see. What should I think that time I did about another 200 that time, so nothing crazy. I'm like, I was like, I wish I wasn't dealing with rewriting this chapter as well, or this part of this chapter as well, but I knew it just needed more foreshadowing to catch up to some of these second draft plot beats. So I needed to foreshadow the antagonist. I did another antagonist foreshadow to our first demon. And I've really elevated this field of dead trees. So I have Scarecrow, the Pixie, and Mr. Crow have just kind of left this grassy field where it's all these like gaping chasms are opening up, and they have now kind of turned and they're going through this like path of dead trees lined on either side by the forest, as the Pixie is directing them where to go. It sounds like that she knows how to help Scarecrow, how to help them find what they're looking for is a brazier. Oh god, I'd figure that out. Let's see. All right, so we're working on this part. So Pebble's going to help them find this item because ultimately they're trying to figure out how to get to the graveyard of the last, since the mentor character had tasked Scarecrow with finding a magic there, right? Yes, Scarecrow essentially has to solve two problems, right, to even get to the graveyard. They have to find where the graveyard of the last is, and then he also has to figure out how to bring back the quilt back to life. There's a quilt that he interacted with that he was told is the secret to unlocking the graveyard. When he originally encountered the quilt, it was like the magic carpet. It was flying around and alive and well. And since then, it is basically just like a quilt. So, or it's just like a normal quilt. It's not, doesn't interact at all. So those are two problems that Scarecrow hasn't figured out how to solve. But I'm having fun. Oh, I love my story so much. I love Scarecrow. Let's see. I saw a couple of you pop in. What's up, Gwenna in the house? Gwenna, I always love your name, by the way. I think anytime we can use for like author branding stuff, Gwenna the Wenna, I think that's clever because you're using a rhyming structure too. You're using a rhyming structure with it, which is smart. Alliteration, rhyming is always a win. Let's see. Marta, yeah, Jared, you probably still have lots of submissions. So I wanted to provide you with some good laugh, but I don't know if you managed to read it on next Saturday. Marta, so you're probably asking about the critique stream. So our next critique stream is going to be on Saturday, February 22nd. Right now, the critique stream is every other week. Next weekend, we'll actually be returning with the Create Right Now podcast. So what I would recommend, Marta, is if you want to submit that, you definitely should. There are a good number of submissions on there, but like with everyone, I say always submit sooner rather than later to increase the likelihood of getting on a sooner stream. The submission link for the critique show is down in the YouTube description down below. So highly, highly recommend you should submit. It probably will give us a good laugh though. Nice, Mike. I got my transition from dinner to a fight scene and got another 400 words. Yes. Cheers to that, my friend. That's awesome. Sounds like you got some good vibes on your end. I feel like we're making some good progress today. I'm feeling like really good about what I'm getting. Even though like my word count's not super high, I'm trying to like work through some kind of like, I wouldn't say challenging, but just I'm trying to work through some story elements which is why I'm kind of feeling like a little stuck. My progress is going a little slower at this section. And let's see, Calvin, you got around 400 as well. Nice. Gwen, I like that sprint. Got dinner on the stove, kid up from nap, and project pulled up on the computer. Glad we have a short break so I can dive in. Yeah, you hopped in at the right time. We're going to be doing a longer sprint next time, so you made good timing. Let's see, Morgana. Like, added another 321 words, but I'm still looking over the commission I ordered. Nice. Nice. So that's good. You were able to get some writing in, but then you're also working on like the branding part of it, which is so important, right? Just because we're not literally writing, just because we're not writing words, like all the other parts of the storytelling process are important, from brainstorming the ideas to developing the cover art, dealing with editing, readers, the marketing side of it. Like all these things need to happen to ultimately publish the book and build our readership. So that's awesome. Eccentric, I wrote 137 words. Nice. Like feeling good about it. It's nice when we're able to get our words in. Oops. Yeah, I know, Brazier. I was like, practice my my pronunciation over here. Brazier. I keep going back and forth, Mary. I know, I'm pretty sure you were involved in the last conversation when we talked about the Brazier when I was still developing this. But right now, the Braziers are basically the chalices that kind of activate the auras around this world. They're kind of far and in between. I considered replacing them with a different type of object, but right now they're like, they're generally integral, powerful artifacts that coincide and work with magic artifacts in the world. Let's see, Morgana. My artist needed my feedback on a character, so I can't fault myself for that one. Yeah, my book cover is basically done. I'll probably be doing a cover reveal for Last Scarecrow, maybe in March. I'll be launching a couple things for Scarecrow in March, but got to make sure progress if I want to be able to launch Scarecrow in a timely manner. Hence why I really got to be making progress on the second revision. So you do it with the name pronunciation. I like that. That's smart. Yeah, that totally makes sense, Eli. Especially so that way we can go over. So that way we can make sure that we can like maximize the time together. I think that's really smart. You're trying to get all those elements lined up. I always love talking through story. I love talking through stories, brainstorming, outline. I find when I do coaching stuff with writers, if they're still developing parts of the story, maybe they're not through the rough draft, or maybe they're still through early stages. I find that with doing coaching sessions or development sessions, that it helps writers being able to talk through like the outline, the characters, the world building, and then it speeds up the writing process. Because it's one thing when you're thinking about storytelling elements in your head, but when you're talking through it with somebody else who has a lot of experience with storytelling, it just speeds up the process and it minimizes mistakes. Let's see. Marta. Ooh, Marta, that's awesome. Like, I was asked for the autograph today for the first time in my life on Destiny. That is so exciting, Marta. Congratulations, my friend. That's really exciting. Really, really awesome. Morgana, like, I got the screenshot of one of my characters because I'm doing a character spotlight on my Insta where I will be doing one character a week. Ooh, good for you. Morgana, make sure that we I need to make sure that we connect on Insta. I'd love to see your character art. I was like, I don't know what's my IG. I'm pretty sure my IG is at I think it's at Kaufman right now, I believe. I was like, you should add me on IG. I love the Instagram community. Bookstagram. Book it was like whatever they called. But yeah, I always love seeing what writers are doing on there. I haven't figured out my like consistency, my upload or my posting strategy for Instagram, but I connect with a lot of great writers on Instagram, which I really love about the platform. That's actually how I found my cover artist. I found my cover artist through Instagram. Let's see. Beautiful. So I feel like that is all good. Let's see. What do we want to talk about? Oh, we should talk about the before we hop into the next sprint, we should advertise the YouTube channel membership. because our next critique group is next Saturday. And this is very, very important. So for those of you who are not already YouTube channel members, next Saturday is our next critique group. So what is a YouTube channel member? Let me pull up this video and I'll play the video real fast for those of you guys who are not channel members. So you can see, I created like a description of this. Let me pull it up. Uno momento. You know, in a perfect world, Kaufman has everything prepared ahead of time. Oh man, I know, I cracked myself up. All right, I have to get the audio up on that. All right, so this just gives a quick little intro for those of you guys who aren't aware or haven't joined the YouTube channel membership yet. Just check this out. It's pretty quick. It's only like a minute and a half. Are you interested in becoming right now YouTube channel member? Well, you've come to the right place. You'll actually get access to 4 unique items just by joining our channel membership. The first thing you'll get is a unique icon that will show up next to your profile whenever you drop a comment in our right now live streams. This icon will actually grow and evolve over time based on length of membership. Number 2, you'll actually get cool emojis that help you represent which genre of writer you are. There's also a really cool dragon emoji. So the next time you're struggling, you can put a dragon on it. And then you'll actually get a free copy of the Freaky Friday anthology. You'll get a digital copy of this. Back in October, we did a flash fiction contest. The 12 finalists were submitted for this anthology, and this is how this was born. There's supernatural, horror, mystery, thriller, and a bunch of different stories in here. And then the 4th thing you'll get is access to the trial version of our monthly critique group. We meet every month on the 15th. It is a closed critique group. So we will meet outside of a live stream on a virtual meeting. You will bring your story, you'll share it with the group, and you'll get feedback. This is a great way if you really want to get solid feedback for your writing from other writers of different styles. Just know that this is a trial critique group. Normally, critique groups of this quality cost way more money. So right now, we're trying it out for the very cheap channel membership just to see how our channel members react to it. So just by becoming a channel member, you'll get all 4 of those items, icons, the emojis, the anthology, and the critique group for only $5. So make sure that you hit that join button right now, and I'll see you on the next stream. All right, so wanted to cue that up since especially our critique group is just around the corner. So our critique group, our channel member critique group next Saturday it'll probably be in the afternoon since the 15th is next Saturday. And I highly recommend you join if you haven't already, because this is going to, we've done what we did the critique group in November, December, January. So this is the 4th critique group. All 3 of them that we've done so far have been really popular. All of the writers who showed up to it got a lot of value out of it. They got feedback from other writers outside of just myself, and it was very, very beneficial. February is going to be the last month that the critique group is for the $5 price. So starting in March, the critique group will move to the $10 tier, which I'll be introducing in March. And the $5 tier is going to be introducing a new accountability offer. It'll be like an accountability group that I'm going to be testing out for the $5 tier. So if you want that $5 price for the critique group, take advantage of it now. You could sign up for it this week and then cancel in 2 weeks if you don't want to do it for more than, if you just want to try out the critique group. And then the way that I look at it is it also supports the channel and is less than a cup of coffee in this day and age. So I really appreciate it. All right. And if you want to become a channel member, just hit that join button down below. All right. So I wanted to do that, get the channel member critique group in. Feel pretty good about that. And ooh, Calvin, that's a good question. Like, what time are we looking at doing the critique group? It'll probably be in the afternoon sometime. I'll post the details of it tomorrow. So if for our channel members who are in here, you'll see the critique group announcement show up on the YouTube community tab tomorrow. I'm looking at my schedule, but I think because it's on a Saturday, we're in a much better spot. It'll probably be in the afternoon at some point. So thanks. Good question. Okay. So I feel pretty good. I think I'm ready. We're ready for this next one. So let's do a little bit of a longer writing sprint. let's end off this writing stream really strong. So we did the first 2 rounds at 25 minutes. Let's do this next one at 40 minutes. We're going to add another 15 minutes. We'll end off this strong. I want to finish this chapter personally and hopefully start the next chapter. I had a really cool idea. So let's do it. I got 40 minutes on the clock. I believe in us. And let's see what we can do. All right. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process because it's time to right now. All right, writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. I feel like I was able to make some decent progress. I'm like, wow, I'm adding I'm writing a little bit more on this section than I really meant to. I wanted this to be a little shorter, but I think I came up with a cool idea, and I think it's actually going to work well with how I'm transitioning into this next object, or this next obstacle. So overall, I feel like I made some solid progress today. I can tell a bunch of you here in the chat and here in the community also made some good progress. I was like, how much did I get? And I also did a little foreshadowing, so I'm really happy with that. Let's see. How far did I go? All right, so I would say today, okay, so I got about, looks like about 14 to 1500 words. So not too bad. So that means I'll have to get a little writing done offline to be able to meet my daily quota. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what we did. We did, what was that? 3 writing sprints, 25, 25, and 40. So 45 plus 4, so just under an hour and a half. So I feel like that was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. And I'm glad you were able to get some progress as well. Let's see. I did some research. Morgana, that's cool that you're doing some publishing stuff. I'd love to chat with you about your publishing strategy. I'm always so curious to learn what other authors are doing on publishing. I'm always happy to connect either through Discord, or it sounds like we're on Instagram. It's always super cool. Let's see. Okay, so far today I wrote 1,109. I'm loving the edited version of chapter 1 so far. It's always such great progress when we're able to really push ourselves. Let's see. Mike, thanks for the sprints. I was able to cross the 1,000 word mark. Yes. Still need to finish the scene, but I'm close. Awesome progress. Eccentric. I made progress in both my chapter and outline. That's the power of being a plancer. Hey, well, you know it. Cheers to you, my friend. That's awesome. Calvin, I got chapter 3 done. So that's progress. Morgana, I got a few words in. I wrote 1,324 in total, popping in another stream later tonight. You know, being able to get to multiple writing sessions in a day is always helpful. That is so cool. We were all able to make some solid Sunday progress. Now, as we look towards creative writing on the morrow, I'll be back tomorrow with, let's see, Mondays are sometimes update streams. Let's see, let me think. Do I have updates? Tomorrow's the 10th. I may or may not. So I'll think on whether I'm going to do an update stream or another writing sprint stream. If I have some updates, we'll do an update stream on Monday. If not, we'll probably just get some more writing in, since we're really trying to make some progress on our storytelling. It'll probably be sometime in the late afternoon. Make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter if you want to get access to the live stream schedule tonight. Otherwise, I will catch y'all on the morrow. If you enjoyed the stream today, make sure to tap that like button on your way out and help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. All right. Thank you so much, my friends. This was some solid progress, and I'm really looking forward to seeing our stories come to life. If you don't want to keep the conversation ending, you can always hop into the Right Now Discord, and we will continue the conversation. It's been a great stream, my friends, but unfortunately that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. What does creative writing mean to you? I'm Kaufman, and I'm on a mission to connect with every creative writer in the world. I need your help. The world is constantly changing, which is why it's our duty. No, it's our responsibility to inspire creativity. My creative writing tips, tricks, and strategies are going to help you become a better writer, so that way you can beat procrastination. Do you have a story that you're dying to tell, but you don't know what to do next? I can actually help you craft a story today.